What's up, everybody? All right, I'm recording this in the morning, actually Sunday morning, the same day that I'm posting this. So I'm a little, I haven't done my exercise yet, so I'm still waking up. But I actually feel like I've got decent energy. Had a migraine last night, so anyway, apologies if I'm a little bit not fully there. I'm gonna try to run through this really quick. I don't want to make this video long. This is about guitar strings. I'm just gonna go through past Amazon purchases of guitar strings, which is where I purchase most of my guitar strings these days, and I'm going to go through different ones that I bought and just tell you the ones that I like. Now, I want to start with the purpose that I'm using guitar strings for. Obviously to play guitar, but more specifically what I'm looking for in guitar strings, because that might be different for you. And so for me, my guitar has two pickups, and one of the pickups is really sensitive in receiving input on the top strings for the E and the B string. And so I need thicker gauge strings there just in order for it to resonate to the level that the pickup actually can sort of copy the information and send it out. So that's just a requirement that I have for my strings. But on top of that, I'm liking the higher gauge strings anyway, because I've long had a problem with strings breaking in the middle of gigs. And even for packs, if I've had a pack on for less than a week, there's a really good chance I'm going to break a string. I mean, even so, the G string and the E and the high E string are the strings that break the most frequently for me. And so typically what I've found for me, the gauge that I've settled on is 13 to 56 or 13 to 54. I kind of don't want the higher gauge on the low end because of the tension that that puts on the bridge. And I've literally had the bridge get pulled up in a gig where it was really hot outside, and I think the glue got weakened, and the bridge just got completely pulled out. And so couldn't play that guitar. Fortunately, I was with my band, and my bandmate had another guitar there. He had brought two guitars because he was going to do different tunings, and so fortunately that I was able to play. But you don't want that to happen. It just looks bad. Even it just feels bad to see your guitar that way. So even more than just not being able to use it, just there's emotional damage, emotional trauma a little bit seeing your guitar like that. So if I could find more packs that are 13 to 54, I would feel more comfortable with that. But I think maybe I had a pack that was like 14 to 59 or something on that day. But the other stipulation that I'm looking for in a guitar string is something that's not only not going to break, but also has longevity of tone. And this is a hard combination to find. You know, tone just doesn't seem to last that long on strings, and it's a hassle to change the strings every single week. It's actually a reasonably lengthy process, and there's not really a great way to speed it up. You just got to get better at it, but you can only get so good. All right, so let's jump over here to this. We're going to scroll through and look at different strings. So let's start at the top. And so we've got Diodario guitar strings, nickel bronze, natural clear, focus tone. This is medium gauge, 13 to 56. Now, my experience, when they say medium gauge or heavy gauge, it really just depends on the brand. These words don't have a lot of meaning because medium here is 13 to 56. We've got heaviest electric guitar strings, 12 to 54 here. Now, these first ones I have yet to put on the guitar, so we'll see what happens with those. But I'll just say, in general, I think Diodario makes some pretty good guitar strings. I think there's a lot of options with Diodario that is a good expenditure of money. These Dunlop heavy core, heaviest electric guitar strings, I just put these on for a day recently and changed them instantly. They were, in my opinion, some of the worst strings I've put on my guitar. I immediately wanted to take them off after I put them on. I thought the tone was almost embarrassing. You might say that might sound like I'm exaggerating or being dramatic, but I'm not. It was tough to play with these strings. I played them out for a actual professional gig, and it was very hard to feel good when I was playing on these strings, like to feel good about the tones that were coming out and what I was giving to the audience, you know, through these strings. So then we've got Blue Steel. I've got these currently on my guitar. This is the first time I've tried these out. So far, I'm really happy with these. I think they sound really good. They felt great when I put them on the guitar at first, and I'm going to be using them again today. I've had them on for maybe about 5 days. I've got a double today, and I feel really confident about how these strings are going to hold up. So I'm going to buy these again, and I'll look forward to seeing how much longer the life lasts on these strings. But so far, so good. DR strings, electric guitar strings, black beauties, black coated. I like the idea of just a different look on the strings, and I was hopeful that the longevity would be good because they're coated strings, and sometimes that's the pitch of coated strings. But I think these are just coated for cosmetic purposes, and the longevity of the life of the string was not great. The tone was okay, but overall, I wouldn't recommend these strings. STRINGJOY Broadway pure nickel electric guitar strings. These things are really good. I've these are some of the only 12 to 52 gauge strings that came through nicely on my pickup, and I think they've got an acceptable lifespan. They're a little bit more on the expensive side. That's something I should dive into more here. I could have pulled these all up. There is variance in price, there's advantages. I think part of the reason I wanted to try these two is the price was decent. The blue steel strings are maybe around 12 or 15, something like that. I'm just going to go through them without clicking on each one, just so we can go through them a little quicker. And for the ones that I recommend, I'll mention the sort of the price, an estimated price of what I would think they are. The STRINGJOYs are maybe like 15 or 16 or something like that. I think these were somewhere in the range of 12 to 15. The Dunlop were a little cheaper, but they were not worth it. And then the Diodario, I think most of the ones that end up being decent strings are in that like $10 to $15 range. Elixir strings. So the Elixirs are fine, but in my experience, they just break all the time. I mean, I've gone through, every time I buy Elixir strings, they just never last. I break them so quickly, and then it's way too expensive. I think the price on Elixirs have come down over time, but when I first got started using them, they're like $20 a pack, and I'd break them after 2 or 3 days, and then I'm out $20. But it's like, I can't do that. All right, we got D'Addario electric strings. I bought these a couple times. I think these were fine, but overall, I'd recommend other strings, and I decided not to stick with these. I tried these ones out, these GHS guitar boomers. I think they did the job. I don't think the life was that great in terms of how long the energy of the string stays fresh. But the price was good on these. I think less than $10 per pack, and so I wanted to try them out. So if budget is really important, this is a good string that'll get the job done, but maybe they kind of go dead in a shorter time span than you'd like. These Jim Dunlop nickel wound electric guitar strings, the extra heavy 13 to 56 gauge. I bought these a number of times, so these I think are not the best option, but they're good. They do the job, and I would put these above the ones that I just talked about, the guitar boomers. So we got more Elixirs here by the Jim Dunlop again. The Elixir strings, again, I would just say, in my experience, Elixirs have this great reputation, but it's just not held up for me, and they just break way too much. Got the STRINGJOYs again. Here's some Diodario 14 to 59. Like I said, that probably pulled up the bridge on my guitar. I got the Dunlop nickel wound ones again. So yeah, I just think these ones did a good job for me. I think overall the value is good. But I kept looking. I didn't stay with them, so we got more Elixirs that I tried. I kept 16 to 56. Here we go on that. That's a unique, when you're with a 16 gauge E, high E string, and then only a 56 on the low end. It's a unique range, so I wanted to try it out. But overall, I just not wanted to do the Elixirs. I just think I don't want to support brands that I don't know. I know people feel differently. But to me, they've got this sort of luxury association of their brand. They're the high end string of the market. But then when they're gonna break like that, there's something about the construction of them, at least for me and my style of playing, that's very weak. It just I don't like that. I feel like that So I don't want to support. I don't want to support that. I don't. I don't the way I said that sounds kind of. Well, let's just move on. All right. So we got these acoustic high E strings and acoustic guitar G strings. Now these are 10 packs, and like I said, I tend to break the high E and the G string all the time, and so these were great because I think it was like $10 or something like that, or even less. I think it was maybe $8 or $9 for 10 replacement of each one. Now, these aren't great strings, but if you break a string in the middle of the gig, you could pop one of these on and get through the gig, and then change your set before the next gig. And I think it's just really handy to have rather than breaking into a new pack in order to change a string. And it's a cheap way to do that. So I recommend these. They'll get you through the gig. Here we have Donner light acoustic guitar strings. This is a 10 pack of full packs of strings. I don't think the longevity, I don't think these strings were particularly amazing, but they were fine. Maybe a little bit below average, just a little bit. But what I would say is the price you can't beat. It was like $24 or $28 for all 10 packs. So that brings it to about $2.40 or 80 cents per pack. So the value you can't beat. Bought more of these replacement strings. I'm going to keep going. Martin Authentic Acoustic medium gauge strings. Again, they were fine, but I only bought these once. I didn't find them to be worth buying more than once. Got more of these Donner strings. 5 set this time. Diodario bronze acoustic guitar strings, gauge 12 to 53. I think I bought these a number of times. And they were fine, but ultimately I've found better packs at this point. Elixir strings, something else I tried, 13 to 56. Same thing I would have to say about Elixir. DR strings, high def neon acoustic guitar strings. Thought it'd be cool to change the aesthetic, but these strings were not good, and definitely more worth it to not have the aesthetic and actually have good strings. I think I might call it here. There's different packs. This, I think, again, these Diodario packs overall, you're not going wrong if you get these Diodario strings. I don't know that I've ever had a pack of Diodario strings that I didn't think were acceptable strings. So the value on them, sometimes I'm finding Diodario packs for like $5 or something like that, $6. So there was some decent Ernie Ball strings in there as well. But I think at this point, what I would recommend, I think we'll call it there. I tried these Dragon Skin acoustic guitar strings. They were fine. Fender ones were fine. But I think I'm just going to call a stop to this video and just land on the ones that have been the best for me going through all those. There's a lot of different pack options. It's the STRINGJOY Broadway's pure nickel 12 to 52 gauge. It's this blue steel, and it's the Jim Dunlop ones here. Those to me are the ones that I've enjoyed the most, and that's again from the perspective of what I specifically am looking for, valuing the longevity of the life, the energy in the string, how long that lasts, the sort of durability, how likely or how less likely it is to break during a gig, how much longer they can just not break, and then the gauge of 13 to 56, somewhere right around there is what I'm looking for. So when you take those considerations, those are my recommendations. If the lifespan of the energy of the string isn't as important, then there's a lot of acoustic strings that will do really well. Like specifically strings that are made for the acoustic guitar. Because if you may have noticed, I'm doing both electric guitar strings and acoustic guitar strings, which for me, both of them I think sound good, and I'm really just looking for that lifespan. And so, but there are a bunch of acoustic strings just made for acoustic guitars, that the life of the energy of the string maybe isn't that great. Maybe it kind of starts to sound dead after about 4 or 5 days. But if you don't mind changing your strings, then those are going to be great for you because they give you a wonderful tone. But if you're looking for longevity, then those ones that I've just recommended now would be the ones that I think are the best options. So far, I'm excited to keep looking, try these Blue Steels ones out longer, give them a little more time to evaluate them, and keep looking for more options and discovering what's out there. And if I find something better, I'll share it here. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one.